It was supposed to be just another electrifying night at the London Palladium, July 24th. The Grand Hall packed with an eager audience who had come to witness the latest reinvention of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Evita, a story steeped in passion, power, and tragedy. But nobody could have predicted that the tragedy on this night would not be confined to the script. Rachel Zegler, the young star who had once been hailed as Hollywood's next great leading lady after her dazzling debut in West Side Story, had taken on the monumental role of Eva Peron, a part that demands stamina, charisma, and the ability to own the stage during one of musical theatre's most iconic moments, the balcony scene for Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. And yet, just as Act 2 was set to begin, with the orchestra ready to swell into the haunting opening notes, Rachel was nowhere to be found. Whispers started in the audience, stagehands moved hurriedly in the shadows, and then, without warning, the understudy Bella Brown appeared in full costume, stepping into the spotlight and delivering a performance so heartfelt and commanding that the audience erupted into applause so thunderous it threatened to bring the ceiling down. Those lucky enough to be there spoke of a 40 to 45-minute delay between acts, the kind of pause that in live theatre usually means something serious has gone wrong backstage. But this wasn't a sprained ankle or a quick costume mishap. This was the lead actress vanishing mid-performance, never to return that night, and the official word given to the audience was vague at best. Her team later claimed it was due to sudden illness, but that story unraveled almost as soon as it was spun. Videos from moments before her disappearance showed Rachel performing with full energy, hitting her marks, showing no visible signs of discomfort or distress. Social media detectives pounced, comparing timestamps, dissecting her movements, pointing out the absence of any signs of dizziness or vocal strain. Almost immediately, a more salacious rumor began to spread, that Rachel hadn't left of her own accord, but had been removed, dismissed in the heat of performance after tensions backstage boiled over. The whispers from within the production painted a picture far darker than the illness narrative. Creative disagreements escalating into shouting matches, crew members allegedly fed up with a my way or the highway approach, producers who had tolerated weeks of lateness, mood swings, and onstage deviations before finally reaching a breaking point. Some insiders claimed the decision to replace her mid-show was made on the spot. No intermission talks, no drawn-out meeting, just a swift surgical cut. For Rachel, this was supposed to be the role that proved she wasn't just a screen star, but a legitimate Broadway powerhouse, a chance to silence critics who had hounded her after the Snow White promo disaster, where her offhand dismissive remarks about the original film alienated a sizable chunk of the Disney fan base. Instead, her Evita run had become the next chapter in what increasingly looked like a career-long PR nightmare. Theatres are small towns in their own right, rumours travel fast, and the tale of Rachel's sudden disappearance was being told and retold, growing in drama with each retelling. Was she truly too sick to continue, or had the creative team finally had enough of the clashes, the delays, the subtle power plays that sometimes come when a Hollywood name enters the sacred space of live theatre? Meanwhile, Bella Brown's star was rising by the minute. Audience members took to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to praise her poise and talent, posting grainy videos of her balcony number and calling it electric, a revelation, the moment the show truly came alive. The applause she received at curtain call was louder than the ovation Rachel had gotten on opening night. For some, it was the clearest signal yet that audiences weren't just accepting the change, they were relieved by it. And that's when the conversation shifted from one night's mishap to a broader question of Rachel Zegler's viability as a performer. This wasn't her first storm. Industry watchers recalled the string of controversies that had followed her: social media missteps, accusations of being dismissive in interviews, behind-the-scenes accounts of frosty relations with castmates. There was an emerging pattern, they said, and the Evita incident fit right into it. While her defenders pointed to her undeniable vocal talent and the pressures of living under constant scrutiny at such a young age, her critics argued that talent alone could not excuse repeated breaches of professionalism. By the morning after, the story had gone international, headlines blaring everything from "Rachel Zegler walks off Evita stage" to "Fired mid-show," "Evita producers stay silent amid speculation." And silence in the fevered world of theatre gossip is, by the time the dust began to settle from that chaotic July 24th night, Rachel Zegler's name had been etched into Broadway gossip history. not as a triumph, but as a lightning rod for every conversation about Hollywood imports clashing with the unforgiving discipline of live theatre. The morning after her abrupt disappearance from Evita, her PR team scrambled to push the sudden illness explanation into the bloodstream of entertainment media. But this was the internet age. Facts and narratives no longer belonged solely to press releases. Social media sleuths dissected every angle of her Act 1 performance, pointing to her strong voice, smooth choreography, and easy engagement with the audience, all of which made the illness claim feel like a paper shield against a hailstorm of rumors. Worse still, theatre insiders began leaking to blogs and podcasts, claiming that tensions had been simmering for weeks, disagreements over interpretation of Eva Perón's character, missed rehearsals due to scheduling conflicts, moments of visible frustration from stage crew when cues were delayed. One source described the environment backstage as walking on eggshells, a phrase that in the world of live performance is code for an unsustainable working dynamic. All of this came on top of a career already weathering turbulence. Rachel's Snow White press tour had been a PR minefield. Her joking dismissal of the 1937 classic as outdated and her mocking of the prince's role as unnecessary had alienated a swath of Disney loyalists. The backlash was swift and loud, with clips of her interviews circulating as examples of how not to promote a beloved property. While some defended her modern feminist reinterpretation, others saw it as a biting hand that fed moment. That controversy had barely cooled when Evita rehearsals began. And now, with the stage exit incident, critics were painting a through line. An actress with talent to spare, but a growing list of self-inflicted wounds. Inside Broadway circles, producers were quietly debating whether celebrity stunt casting was worth the risk when it could lead to exactly this kind of headline. Theatres rely on stability, trust, and consistency. No audience member paying a premium ticket price wants to wonder if the lead will even make it to Act 2. The box office too was feeling the ripple effects. Early in the run, Rachel's name had been credited with drawing in younger, social media-savvy crowds who might not have otherwise bought tickets to a classic musical. But after her exit, sales patterns shifted. Some attendees reportedly asked for refunds upon hearing that Bella Brown would be performing instead of Rachel, but just as many, if not more, began buying tickets specifically to see Bella. Word of mouth about her powerhouse balcony scene spread, reframing the show's appeal entirely. Meanwhile, the longer Rachel stayed silent, the more the narrative hardened against her. Entertainment columnists speculated about her future, with some predicting a period of career exile until public memory softened, while others insisted she had the raw ability to stage a redemption arc if she could show humility and rebuild trust within the industry. Yet humility was not the word many were associating with her at that moment. A resurfaced December 2023 social media post in which she likened herself to the winged victory of Samothrace, broken, imperfect, yet still admired, was being mocked as self-mythologizing arrogance. In a different context, it might have been poetic. Now it was seen as tone-deaf. Adding to the complexity, notable figures like Bridgerton star Nicola Coughlan spoke out in her defense, urging the public to extend grace and reminding them that rumors rarely tell the whole truth. It was a rare bright spot, but one voice of support could not drown out the tidal wave of speculation. Even those willing to forgive were left asking, forgive for what exactly? No official explanation had been offered beyond illness, and without transparency, the imagination of the internet filled in the blanks with the most dramatic possibilities. Some theorized she had clashed with the director over a last-minute staging change. Others whispered about a heated exchange with a fellow cast member moments before the curtain rose for Act 2. A few even floated the idea of contractual disputes reaching a flashpoint mid-performance. None of these scenarios were confirmed, yet each found its audience in the rumor economy that thrives around celebrity scandal. By week's end, the Evita production had a new unofficial marketing hook: come for the drama, stay for Bella Brown. Bella herself was gracious in interviews, praising Rachel's talent and wishing her well, but the subtext in fan circles was clear. The understudy had outshone the star in the court of public opinion. Industry veterans warned that this kind of reversal was rare and often irreversible. Once the audience begins rooting for your... If anyone thought the firestorm surrounding Rachel Zegler's mid-performance exit from Evita would fade quietly into Broadway lore, they underestimated how hungry the entertainment world is for a saga that blends star power, backstage intrigue, and a public fall from grace. Entertainment podcasts began devoting entire episodes to unpacking the timeline,